A lot of people, they ask me after I've performed, they come up to me and they ask, hey, you didn't look nervous at all up there. Wow, how do you do it?
In a world that often overlooks small miracles, the story of Angelica Hale begins not under the bright lights of a stage, but under the dim fluorescence of a hospital room where machines hissed and monitors screamed. At just 4 years old, Angelica was locked in a battle most adults wouldn't survive. Her lungs drowning in a double pneumonia storm, sepsis poisoning her blood, and her kidneys surrendering one after the other. Doctors didn't mince words when they prepared her parents for the most devastating outcome, inducing a coma and connecting her to an ECMO machine, a last resort heart-lung bypass used only when all else has failed. For 81 grueling days, her body hung between life and death, her skin bruised from treatments, her weight dropping dangerously low, and her future looking grim. But amidst that storm, one small heartbeat refused to give up, and one mother made a decision that would alter the course of history. Ava Hale, Angelica's mother, turned out to be a perfect kidney match. In a moment that redefined the word sacrifice, Ava donated her kidney to her daughter in September 2013. That act not only restored life, but lit a fire in a little girl who had tasted the void and come back hungry, not just to survive, but to sing. As recovery crawled forward, something strange happened inside the sterile walls of that hospital. While other children clung to toys, Angelica clung to melody. Between dialysis sessions and blood draws, she began to hum. At first it was faint, a whisper beneath the beeping of machines, but soon, nurses caught her softly mimicking Whitney Houston, and doctors noticed her mouthing lyrics even while under sedation. Her father recorded shaky clips on his phone. Angelica in a hospital gown, IV lines dangling, her tiny voice trembling but determined. Those raw performances, uploaded to YouTube with little expectation, caught fire. 10 views became hundreds. Hundreds grew into thousands. Strangers commented with prayers. Kidney charities received unexpected donations. Some viewers even wrote, "Your voice healed me tonight." That fragile hum born on borrowed time had become a rallying cry. And when Angelica finally walked out of that hospital, the Georgia air hit her lungs like a second baptism. Her parents didn't shield her. Instead, they pointed her toward microphones. Vocal coaches stretched her range. Charity galas gave her first stages. By the time she sang at the US Open semi-final, she hadn't even finished elementary school. Each note she belted was a defiant middle finger to the infection that tried to silence her. But the world had only seen the opening act. Her real debut was just ahead. In 2017, the world watched a tiny figure in a sunflower yellow dress step nervously onto the America's Got Talent stage. Most assumed she'd be another sweet footnote in the long line of child contestants. But the moment Angelica Hale opened her mouth and released "Rise Up" by Andra Day, something shifted in the room. Judges blinked, mouths dropped, and millions of viewers at home felt goosebumps from a voice that didn't just sing, it survived. Simon Cowell looked haunted. Mel B mouthed, "Wow." And Chris Hardwick couldn't hold back, slamming the golden buzzer so hard that confetti seemed to explode. With Voltage, that one performance turned her from a sepsis survivor into a global star. Over the weeks that followed, she powered through genre after genre, Zed, Clean Bandit, Alicia Keys, and reached the finals. She didn't win the trophy, but she won something far bigger: cultural permanence. A duet with Kelly Clarkson in the finale sealed her place in AGT history. Billboard called her a singer who channels pain with more grace than performers twice her age. Entertainment Tonight dubbed her a force of nature trapped in a fourth grader's frame. And while she technically lost to a singing ventriloquist, nobody debated who the season's true star really was. 2 years after her jaw-dropping AGT debut, Angelica Hale returned to the franchise that catapulted her into global recognition. Not as a hopeful contestant, but as a contender with something to prove. It was 2019, and the stage was bigger. America's Got Talent. The champions. The stakes were global, the spotlight hotter, and Angelica, now 11, stood taller, wiser, and even more powerful. When she launched into Rachel Platten's fight song, the room didn't just hear it. They felt it. Howie Mandel didn't wait for the final note. He slammed the golden buzzer before the chorus ended, making Angelica the first performer in AGT history to receive the honor twice. Social media erupted with disbelief and admiration. Hashtags surged with pride from Filipino and American fans alike. And mainstream media declared her a phenomenon no longer bound by age. Her finals, performance of Impossible, stripped away every last defense in the room, revealing a soul that had weathered storms far beyond her years. As the crowd rose to its feet, it became undeniable. Angelica was no longer a prodigy. She was a force. With confetti falling again and Twitter flooded with tributes, one truth rang louder than any judge's praise. This girl, who had once needed a machine to breathe, now commanded stages with the oxygen of the world. She didn't just return to AGT, she conquered it. The end of AGT didn't mark the end of Angelica's visibility. It marked her evolution. Soon, she was everywhere. National football games saw her belting the anthem in Dallas, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta. She floated through the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on a moving platform under a 50-foot Snoopy balloon, singing Girl on Fire to millions. She became a staple on the TNT Boys World Tour, earning standing ovations across Canada and Asia. Journalists tried to force her into cultural boxes. Was she a Filipino miracle or an American prodigy? Angelica, ever gracious, answered plainly, "I'm both, and I'm grateful." That dual identity didn't divide her audience. It multiplied it. Young girls of color saw themselves on stages they'd never dreamed of occupying. And when she dropped her debut single, Feel the Magic, critics didn't scoff, they listened. Self-written and packed with lyrics drawn from her hospital, Memories, the synth-pop hit, was featured by Apple Music and Spotify alike. Then came her holiday album Christmas Wonder, blending classic tunes with gospel choirs and emotional resonance that critics compared to Olivia Rodrigo's Honesty, minus the heartbreak, plus the survivor's gravitas. With every note, Angelica proved she wasn't a viral accident. She was a national treasure, multi-dimensional, multicultural, and undeniably magnetic. As Angelica's voice soared, so did her ambitions. In 2022, she made her acting debut in the indie film American Reject, playing Anna, the burst of sunshine who pulls a jaded singer out of despair. Critics hailed her as a scene stealer, proving her emotional range extended well beyond music. From there, she landed voiceover roles with Disney Junior's Tootsies, and later starred in Maya Unstoppable, a Netflix animated series about a genius tween inventor. And then came 2025's biggest pivot, Broadway. Angelica was cast as Trisha in Boop the Musical, a bold revival of Betty Boop for Gen Z audiences. Performing 8 shows a week, live vocals, tap dancing, and emotionally charged scenes would exhaust most veterans, but Angelica handled it with the same poise she brought to AGT. Theater Mania dubbed her Broadway's new electricity. She wasn't just performing, she was powering an entire production. While many former child stars fade into obscurity, Angelica turned her spotlight into fuel, showing every critic that her talents weren't confined to a reality show stage. With every curtain call, she silenced skeptics and reminded the world that she was built not just to survive, but to lead. Behind the dazzling lights, Angelica Hale crafted something even more powerful than a career. She built a mission. As the National Kidney Foundation's first-ever kid ambassador, she didn't just lend her face to the cause. She lobbied Congress for transplant funding and visited pediatric wards, kneeling beside children with matching scars. She sang lullabies over oxygen tanks and turned hospital corridors into concert halls. With the Sepsis Alliance, she starred in a public service campaign titled "It's About Time," educating parents on early warning signs. One mother later wrote, "Your video saved my toddler's life." Angelica's empathy didn't end there. At celebrity galas, even when sharing the stage with icons like David Foster and Celine Dion, she always carved out 90 seconds to remind donors why kidneys mattered. Mercy wasn't something she performed. It was embedded in her DNA. She turned her platform into a megaphone for causes that once threatened her life. From singing to fundraisers to shaping health policy, Angelica made it clear, she wasn't just here to perform, she was here to save lives. In the age of influencers and fleeting fame, Angelica Hale stood out by turning platforms into pillars of permanence. Her YouTube channel surged past 3.3 million subscribers, where fans binge-watched everything from studio sessions to goofy vlogs. Instagram showcased not just her glamour, but her raw moments: vocal warm-ups, rehearsal bloopers, advocacy rants. Facebook became a haven for multi-generational followers, including nurses, grandparents, and young survivors who saw themselves in her journey. TikTok took things to another level, with viral clips amassing 35 million views, including a hilarious riff session at a fast food intercom. But not all was smooth. In 2023, her original TikTok account was suddenly suspended over an age misclassification, despite her being 15. Sponsorships paused. Instead of lashing out, Angelica calmly posted a YouTube explainer and launched a new handle. In 90 days, she surpassed 100,000 followers again. The comeback was so strategic that TikTok itself featured her on the must-watch banner. Her engagement wasn't fueled by controversy. It was earned by consistency, authenticity, and resilience. Merch sold out in hours, and live streams turned into donation drives. By 2024, her net worth had crossed $3 million, but her fans knew that Angelica wasn't counting money. She was counting lives touched. For someone whose rise was fueled by clarity, Angelica wasn't immune to online chaos. In early 2023, a family New Year's photo sparked bizarre conspiracy theories when viewers misread a balloon shaped like 22 as her actual age. Memes exploded. Tabloids claimed she had lied about her birth year. Angelica responded with a viral duet, singing "I'm Every Woman," with her birth certificate projected behind her. That year, rumors also swirled around a mysterious project, labeled A25, with leaked snippets suggesting she was negotiating between two record labels, one indie, one K-pop backed. But when she surprise dropped the self-released single Phoenix Heart in June 2024, everything changed. The song vaulted to 8 million Spotify streams in just 6 weeks. Fans dissected lyrics about "Ashes I Borrowed Light," reading them as metaphors for her transplant. She just retweeted a single phoenix emoji. Despite trending in early rosters, she was notably absent from the final cast of America's Got Talent Fantasy League. Reddit threads speculated she was locked in for a secret Broadway jukebox musical. Angelica stayed silent until she posted a belting challenge from a rehearsal room plastered in cryptic show posters. That video hit 12 million views. Confirmation wasn't necessary. The legend was already in motion. September 2025 marked 10 years since Eva Hale signed the transplant consent form that saved her daughter's life. To celebrate, Angelica announced the 10-year-strong benefit concert at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Every ticket sold funding AI-driven sepsis detection research. She teased an unreleased anthem, "Borrowed Light," promising to premiere it beneath Aurora-inspired lights. The show sold out in 43 minutes. Backstage, her dad had quit his finance job to manage her career full-time, and her mother now ran a foundation connecting transplant families. Angelica began hosting weekly mental health live streams for Gen Z creatives, normalizing therapy and resilience. Even during a suspected vocal cord injury in late 2023, she returned with an Instagram Live belting an F7 whistle note, shutting down every rumor with one piercing sound. Her encore isn't a song, it's a movement. "I'm here because someone said yes when the odds screamed no," she tells fans. "If my voice ever lifted you, lift someone else." As the spotlight shines brighter, Angelica Hale continues to transform borrowed time into blazing purpose. And the world waits, not for her finale, but for her next crescendo.